Welcome to Latent Studio. In this tutorial, I am going to be showing you how to use the train tool inside the application. So as a recap, there are three tools that you should be aware of inside the app. The train tool, which we are currently in, the generate tool, which is used to generate brand new images of your product in any scene you can imagine, and the Pro Edit tool, in which you submit select images for professional editing if you so require it. So let's get started with the train tool. In the train tool, you are submitting images of your product, usually taken on an iPhone, and using those images to train an AI model on images of your product. That model can then be used inside the generate tool to produce new images of your product, again, in any scene you like. So the train tool is relatively easy to use. There are a couple of fields that we have to specify before we begin training our model. So let's navigate to the left-hand column here. So I have to name the model as a first step. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be training an AI model on images of a black handbag. And I have all of the images of this black handbag already prepared, taken on my iPhone. So I'm going to name this model accordingly. I've actually already trained a few models on images of this handbag already, as you'll see on the right. So it looks like I have 3 models trained already on the same handbag. So I'm going to call this model handbag V4. The next thing I need to do is I need to select the model type. So if you look at the options that are available to me here, this is asking me to tell the model what sort of images it is learning from. So if I'm submitting images of a man, for example, then I will select the man option. The same thing goes for a dress, t-shirt, pants, or shoe. Generic options that are common in images used in training. If I don't see my model type here, then I'm going to select other. Now I don't see a black handbag anywhere here, so I'm going to go ahead and select other. And this is going to open up a new text field where I'm going to manually write what the type of image is that is being used here. So these are images of a black handbag. And so I'm going to write black handbag here. And this helps the model understand what the actual images are, what the product is inside the images. And it helps it learn better how to reproduce that product when we then use this model in the generate tool. So it's really important that we get the model type right here. So now that I've filled out the fields that are necessary, I've named my model, I've also identified the model type. The next step is uploading images of the product that I want to train the AI model on. So I'm going to select the image selection button here, and I'm going to select all of the images that I have of my black handbag, and these are all images that I have taken on my iPhone. I'm going to select them. They're going to show up in preview form here. As you can see, these are all images of the same black handbag, and this is the black handbag I want to produce new images of inside the generate tool and produce professional quality images of this black handbag. So these are all of the images that are now going to be used to train the AI model. I'm going to go ahead and select the train the model, hit the train model button here. It's going to upload the images. Great, okay, so now I receive this notification that tells me that it's going to take about 2 to 3 hours to train the model on these images. And so I'll hit OK. And if I navigate over to the training tab here, I will notice that I see this model that is currently training. So if I select the images, select this modal rather, I will see all of the images that I've submitted for training this model. And there are a few important things to note about these images. Firstly, it's important that the training images used to train the model of your product are majority occupied by the product itself. So it is much better for the model to learn from images where the product is front and center in the image. It occupies a large majority of the image. As you can see here, this is mostly the case. There are a couple of exceptions, perhaps this image here. Small exceptions are okay, but in general, the product must occupy the majority of the image. The second thing to note is that the resolution of these training images needs to be reasonable. The reason we encourage iPhone images is that they are reliable for model training, and the resolution works fine. So these are all iPhone images and they follow that requirement that way. The third thing to note here as well is that the lighting conditions of the training images are reasonable. I spent no real time trying to get the lighting to be great in these training images. It was very fast for me to assemble them. However, the lighting is reasonable. No one image is particularly dim. The product is clear in all of the images, and so I meet that requirement. The fourth requirement is that the background for these training images has some diversity. So these are all images that I took inside my office space and on the balcony outside the office space. And so I was able to produce these images with these varied backgrounds in a single space. And that's what you see here. So there isn't a great deal of diversity that is required. However, if you only upload images with the same background, with the product in the same orientation, it will cause the model to learn that background too much. And when you start generating images of the product, you'll notice that background reappear in a way that you don't want. That's why we require the training images have sufficiently diverse backgrounds. And once you meet those four requirements, then you're good to go. You're ready to train a model on your images. And that's exactly what we've done here. And so I'm going to wait for this model to finish training. Once it's finished training, I can then navigate over to the Generate tool, and I'll there be able to select the model that I've trained in model selection and generate images in any scene I can imagine. And again, please refer to the generation tutorial to see how that is done most effectively. Okay, thank you for listening to this tutorial. This sums up the train tool. Please let us know if you have any questions or if you don't believe you're obtaining the quality that you want in model training. We're here to help. You can email us or contact us through the support chat bot. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much.